You would introduce yourself and you're recognized. Please push your button.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and members of the committee, I appreciate it. I'm Allison Bragg, I'm the state's Inspector General, and I appreciate y'all letting me be here today to visit with you all about this bill. Other than being the state's Inspector General, really my qualifications to speak about this bill are from my prior experience. Before I came to state government earlier this year, I spent 10 years at the U.S. Attorney's Office as a federal prosecutor. And in that capacity, I was mostly involved with larger-scale criminal investigations, investigating things like drug rings or gang activity, things that required a strong law enforcement response. And based on that, I'm really here to discuss the security piece of the bill. A lot of the speakers, both for and against this bill, have stated that they don't have a problem with certain measures being taken to keep the governor and her family safe. And it's wonderful to hear that consensus because I think as Arkansans, we can all agree how important that is. It really comes down to the details about how we do that. And so in 10 years of conducting these federal investigations, a lot of what I was able to participate in were organized arrests of multiple defendants, large-scale multi-agency federal operations that involved all different agencies, including FBI, DEA, ATF, and the Arkansas State Police. And when we participate in those types of activities, almost always there's what's called an operations plan, or colloquially an ops plan. And all that is logistics of the operation. What are we going to do? How many people are going to be there? Are we arresting 80 defendants that have been indicted in a federal drug conspiracy? Are we going to do that all at the same time? How many officers do we need? Which officers? Where? Where are they going to be? Are we going to do it simultaneously? Who's going to be prepared to draw a firearm? In what circumstances does someone need to draw a firearm? What type of technology? What type of equipment will be used? All sorts of very detailed questions, right down to which officer knocks on the door and which officer is standing behind him. These types of security details are not limited to federal arrest operations. They're really implicit in almost every type of security endeavor undertaken by the Arkansas State Police, and that includes the governor's executive security detail. So in making any information available about these activities, including past activities, it weakens the effectiveness of security in the future. That's one point that I think people do get mixed up on is what's the difference in releasing past information about past activities? What difference does it make if we know who was with her last time? What difference does it make if we know how many people were on the plane or was any security on the plane? What makes a difference is past actions predict future behavior, and that's true of law enforcement as well. This establishes a pattern. So maybe there's nothing necessarily problematic about releasing a list of passengers on an airplane. But what problem that creates is a precedent. Now there's an expectation that every single airplane the governor is on will have a list of every single person who was on it with her. What if next time there are 17 police officers with her because that trip has been called into question of security? We don't need the public to know that. That's not safe. Even worse, what if there is a trip being taken and the governor does not have security on the plane that day? We can't create an expectation that that list will always be released because it only takes one time for it to really matter, one time for a bad actor to have too much information to compromise the security of the governor and her family, including her two small children. So I would ask people to really reflect on their concerns about the security portion of the bill, especially providing past information about security, because it is past information that officers take into account to create their plans for the future. And the more information is available about those plans, the more possible it becomes for a tragedy to occur. And so I appreciate y'all letting me be here today, and please let me know if I can answer any questions.
Thank you. Is there any questions? Seeing none, appreciate the testimony.
Thank you.
Next, Colonel Mike Hager.